The bold and the beautiful. Quinn's DNA bombshell shatters Hope and Carter's wedding. Forrester family implodes amid media frenzy. The wedding was supposed to be the beginning of something clean. Hope Logan, long bruised by complicated love stories, was finally set to marry someone solid. Someone dependable, Carter Walton. The ceremony was a public declaration, a quiet triumph over years of emotional chaos. The Forresters were in attendance. The venue was elegant. The press whispered behind velvet ropes. And then, in a moment that will forever be remembered as one of the most explosive in the bold and the beautiful history, everything fell apart. It happened just as the pastor raised his voice and asked the question everyone was waiting for. Do you, Hope Logan, take this man to be your lawfully wedded husband? She turned, ready to say yes. Her lips parted. Carter looked into her eyes with a mix of anticipation and steady loyalty. But the words never made it out, because that's when Quinn Fuller walked in. The doors of the chapel flung open. Gasps echoed. Murmurs rippled across the pews. And there she was, bold, composed, and holding a single manila envelope in her hand. Quinn, who had vanished months ago after a mysterious medical emergency, presumed out of the picture, was suddenly standing at the center of it. The silence cracked like glass under her voice. "I am sorry to interrupt," she said coolly, "but I have something that can't wait. This child," she paused and held up a photo, "is Carter's son." Hope stood frozen. The audience broke into murmurs. Brooke's face twisted into a grimace of disbelief. Ridge's brow furrowed, eyes narrowing. And Carter couldn't move. The envelope was opened. Inside, a printed document, DNA test results. Certified, verified, signed by Dr. Albrecht, Eric Forrester's personal physician, whose credibility was beyond question. The papers showed a 99.9% match. Carter Walton was the biological father of Quinn's child. A baby born during her disappearance, hidden from everyone, even from him. Hope's hand trembled. Brooke surged forward, instinctively moving to shield her daughter. "This is garbage," she snapped. "A stunt. A lie. You are not ruining my daughter's wedding with another one of your games, Quinn." But Quinn was unshaken. "I didn't come here to ruin anything," she replied. "I came here to give Carter the truth." Ridge stepped in. His voice was sharp, commanding. "That's enough. We're pausing the ceremony. Everyone, out." The guests stood, some reluctantly, some in stunned silence. Security closed the doors. The Forresters remained. Hope stood at the altar, eyes locked on Carter, the man who had just become a father to a child he didn't know existed. Carter was still reeling. He hadn't seen Quinn since she'd left Los Angeles. After her collapse, after she checked into an overseas clinic, she vanished. No calls, no letters, no answers, just gone. And now she was back, and she had a baby, his baby. Hope finally broke her silence. "Is it true?" Her voice cracked. "Is it really yours?" Carter turned, his expression contorted in confusion and guilt. "I don't know," he admitted. "I haven't spoken to Quinn in months. She disappeared. I didn't even know she was pregnant." Quinn's eyes softened. "I didn't know either. Not until it was almost time. I had complications. The doctors thought I wouldn't carry to term. I didn't want to give you false hope. I wasn't sure I'd survive. But I did. And so did he. And you deserve to know." Hope stepped back. The room spun. Everything that was supposed to be clear and stable now blurred. She had taken a risk, agreeing to marry Carter after the chaos of Liam, Thomas, and all the men who left pieces of themselves behind. She thought Carter was the calm in the storm. But now, standing here, she realized she was just another wave crashing against his past. Brooke turned to Ridge. "This is a disaster. We're going to be slaughtered by the press." And she was right. Within an hour, the story leaked. A Forrester wedding derailed by a secret baby. A surprise appearance by Quinn Fuller. The Logan name dragged through scandal. Again. Reporters gathered outside the estate. Cameras flashed. Social media exploded. Every news outlet in Los Angeles had the headline: "Hope Logan's wedding ends in shock paternity reveal. Baby bombshell for groom Carter Walton." Inside the mansion, chaos spread. Eric was livid. My doctor was used for the circus." Donna tried to calm him, but he pulled away, marching off to demand answers from Albrecht himself. Ridge cornered Carter. "You couldn't control one thing in your life. One moment of stability." But Carter was too stunned to respond. All he could see was the photo Quinn had shown. A little boy, dark eyes. His eyes. Hope, escorted to her room by Brooke, collapsed on the bed. "Why does this keep happening to me?" she whispered. "Why can't love just be simple?" Brooke tried to soothe her, but the damage was done. Hope wasn't just hurt. She was humiliated. publicly, dramatically, and again, left to clean up emotional shrapnel that wasn't her fault. In the aftermath, Quinn and Carter finally sat down. She explained everything: the pregnancy scare, the complications, the high-risk condition that nearly took her life. Her decision to leave was selfish, yes, but also rooted in fear. She didn't want to burden him. She didn't know if she'd survive. But when the baby was born, healthy, alive, she knew she couldn't keep him hidden forever. Carter asked the question that hung in the air like a bomb. What do you want from me? Quinn didn't hesitate. I want our son to know his father. I don't want money. I don't want anything from you. But he needs you. And Carter, despite everything, the heartbreak, the embarrassment, the broken wedding, couldn't deny the truth. That baby was his. And he couldn't abandon him. The Forrester board called an emergency meeting. They were hemorrhaging media goodwill. Investors were nervous. Ridge proposed freezing all Logan Forrester promotional material until the scandal died down. Brooke exploded. You're blaming my daughter for something Quinn did. But the room was already turning. Thomas, sensing opportunity, began planting seeds again. Hope's perfect image was cracking, and with Carter compromised, Thomas saw an opening. He comforted Hope in private, told her she deserved someone who'd never keep secrets. Someone who saw her, and only her. Hope didn't respond. Not yet. Because her heart was in ruins. She wasn't ready to love again. Not Carter. Not Thomas. Not anyone. All she could do was stare at the altar that never saw a vow exchanged, and wonder how many more times she could stand up just to fall again. And Quinn, she held her son that night, alone, watching from a distance as the Forresters spiraled and the media buzzed. She had thrown a grenade, yes, but she had also told the truth. And in this world, sometimes that was the most dangerous act of all. As the bold and the beautiful heads into its next chapters, the fallout is just beginning. Carter must balance fatherhood with shattered loyalties. Hope must decide if she can forgive, or if this is her final lesson in letting go. The Forresters face a PR crisis that could threaten their legacy. And lurking behind all of it is Quinn, whose reappearance may mark the return not just of a mother, but a force the Forresters once underestimated, and may soon fear again. The bold and the beautiful, Quinn's ruthless revenge destroys Hope and Carter's future. Sparks scandal that shakes the Forresters to the core. Hope Logan thought the worst was behind her after the shocking interruption at her wedding by Quinn Fuller, after learning that Carter Walton had fathered a secret child with the very woman who vanished without warning. She believed she could regain some control, some dignity, some clarity. But the bold and the beautiful never deals in clean conclusions. Just when Hope thought the damage had peaked, Quinn launched the second phase of her meticulously planned takedown, and this time, it wasn't just about Carter. This time, it was about complete annihilation. Quinn was never going to quietly walk away after the wedding debacle. Her interruption wasn't a last-minute moral compulsion. It was the beginning of a calculated plan. Because for Quinn, this wasn't just about revealing the truth to Carter or claiming her son's right to know his father. It was about revenge. Deep, generational revenge. Brooke, Donna, Hope. The Logan women had humiliated her, mocked her, and cast her out of the Forrester circle like she was trash. Brooke took Eric back. Donna paraded herself around the Forrester estate like the queen of the manor. Hope stole sympathy from the press after the failed wedding, painting herself as the innocent woman blindsided by a secret baby. And now, Quinn was ready to burn that image to the ground. She didn't have to fabricate anything. The truth was enough. Within 48 hours of the wedding disaster, Quinn delivered an encrypted drive to every major fashion outlet and tabloid in Los Angeles. Inside, a meticulously edited set of photos and video clips showing Hope in a series of secret meetings with Thomas Forrester, all taken in the weeks leading up to the wedding. The meetings weren't criminal, but they were intimate. Late-night rendezvous in Thomas's design studio. Hope standing inches from Thomas, whispering, her hand brushing his shoulder. Her body language, confidential, secretive. The footage alone was enough to raise suspicions. But the timing was the fatal blow. Along with the visual material, Quinn attached an anonymous tip that Hope had been working behind Carter's back to manage a private PR fallout for HFTF, and had leaned on Thomas, not Carter, to keep it quiet. It wasn't illegal, but it reeked of betrayal, especially after Hope had publicly claimed she was committed to building a transparent future with Carter. The implication was simple. While Carter planned vows, Hope rekindled emotional ties with her ex. The images hit the press like a nuclear blast. Headlines screamed betrayal. Hope Logan secretly meeting Thomas Forrester behind fiance's back. Another Logan scandal. Brooke's daughter following in her footsteps. Carter Walton. Victim or fool? Liam Spencer saw the images before Hope could prepare him, and his reaction was immediate and furious. For Liam, who had long suspected that Thomas never truly disappeared from Hope's heart, the photos confirmed every insecurity. Every quiet worry, every time Hope had defended Thomas suddenly became evidence. He lashed out, not just at Hope, but publicly, in a statement to the press denouncing the disrespect and hypocrisy of people who play with hearts under the pretense of healing. Hope's world crumbled again. Carter, blindsided by the release of the footage, confronted Hope privately. His tone was calm, but his heart was breaking. "Did you lie to me?" he asked. "Did you turn to Thomas when you should have come to me?" Hope couldn't deny the meetings, but she insisted they weren't romantic. They were strategic. Damage control. Thomas still had creative control over the HFTF brand, and she didn't want another scandal undermining their comeback. But that wasn't enough. Not for Carter. Not for the media. Not for the Forrester family, who were already bracing under the weight of another very public meltdown. Then Quinn struck again, with the press already circling. She called a press conference of her own under the guise of protecting her child's future. In a move that blindsided Carter, Quinn's legal team handed him a prepared agreement live on camera. Full acknowledgement of paternity, monthly financial support, joint legal custody, and visitation terms. Carter froze. In front of a dozen cameras, reporters, and flashing lights, he looked like a man trapped, a man stripped of agency, a man cornered by his past. And Quinn smiled for every camera. The image was damning. Carter, who had always prided himself on loyalty and integrity, was now painted as a liar, a secret father, and a man whose fiancée had quietly wandered back toward her ex. The headlines shifted again. Carter Walton signs away his freedom. Quinn controls the narrative. Hope Logan abandoned. Again. Hope watched it all unfold from the Forrester guest house, where she'd been staying to avoid the press. The moment the footage aired, she knew it was over. Not just the wedding, not just the relationship, but the trust, the sense of safety. She could no longer pretend that Carter was the man the world saw, stable, untouchable, perfect. Nor could she pretend that she hadn't added fuel to the fire by hiding the meetings with Thomas, by keeping secrets of her own. She had created the very space Quinn needed to destroy everything. She called off the engagement for good. "It's not because of the baby," she told Carter quietly. "It's because I can't marry a man the whole world doubts, and I can't ask you to marry a woman who's lost your trust." Carter didn't fight it. He just nodded. "We were supposed to build something simple, but nothing in either of our lives has ever been simple." Quinn, meanwhile, reclaimed her place in the narrative with ruthless grace. She released carefully curated images of her and the baby, soft lighting, smiling faces, cozy settings. She painted herself as the mother who was pushed aside, but returned only to ensure her son had a father. The same media who once crucified her now hailed her as the comeback queen, twisting her ambush into a redemption arc. And she let them. Brooke was livid. Donna was shaken. Eric remained silent, furious that his own doctor had been dragged into the chaos. Rich demanded Quinn be barred from all Forrester properties. But it was too late. The damage was done. Thomas, for his part, denied anything inappropriate. He claimed the meetings were professional and dismissed the insinuations as careless spin from a bitter woman. But the damage lingered. HFTF stock dropped. Buyers pulled out. The line, already weakened from internal strife, faced another PR nightmare. Hope retreated. For the first time in years, she wasn't with Liam. She wasn't with Thomas. She wasn't trying to prove anything to anyone. She was just still, watching her name trend for all the wrong reasons. Watching photos of Quinn's child fill the news feeds. Watching Carter disappear into legal meetings. Watching the brand she rebuilt threaten to collapse under her name. And somewhere in the distance, Quinn watched it all. She had pulled every string, cracked every facade, and exposed every weakness. And she wasn't done yet, because for Quinn, this wasn't just revenge. It was legacy. And she intended to write the next chapter herself. As the bold and the beautiful moves forward, no bond remains untouched. Hope and Carter are over. HFTF is under threat. Liam is spinning into another identity crisis. Brooke and Donna are preparing counterstrikes. And Quinn, brilliant, relentless, dangerous Quinn, has proven once again that the most powerful weapon in Los Angeles is the truth, used at just the right moment. And she's just getting started.